guys, here's part 2 to homework number 4. And so today we're going to talk about topic QPZ, which is combining like terms. And so I just went through IXL and I went ahead and copied down some of the problems. And I'm just going to go through those as we go. So one of the problems that I got was this. And so the idea is like terms have same letter with same exponent. And these have to be exactly the same in order to be like terms. So if I'm looking here, I have an N on this one and an N on that one and an N on that one. So they are exactly the same, which means that these are like terms. And so usually I will show students this situation where basically you're breaking them up and you'll notice that the sign stays with the number that's in back of it. So this negative, this -8 is really like a -8 here. So if you're looking through this, hopefully if you remember from the previous lesson, scroll right down again, you should rewrite plus minus together as, oh, sorry, geez, that's great, as a minus, and then minus minus together as a plus. So really these can be rewritten here, right, as a minus. This is really minus a -10. So you'll get better at seeing that the more you think about it. But really I'm saying 6 minus 10 minus 8. That's how many N's I have altogether if I combine them. So if I have $6 and I spend 10, then that's -4. So this would be -4N and then that -8N. And then now I have -4 and another -8. So -4 minus 8 is -12N. So I'm really just combining 6 minus 10 minus 8 to get this amount of N's, which is -12. If I go even easier, something like this, which was the second example I got, -6 H's here and -5 H's here. So if I have -6 in this group and -5 in this group, altogether I have 11 negatives, right? I owe 6 and I owe 5, so that means I owe 11 altogether. All right, 8M plus 4M plus 10N. So I have 8 in this group and 4 in this group and 10 in that group. So if I just combine them all together, 12 plus 10, so 22. Okay, then they definitely start throwing in more signs. So the next example I got looked like this. And then I also like to point out to students, because when I write this kind of a problem down, I don't just put the plus and the negative together. I usually would put parentheses around this. IXL doesn't do this, but you can. And then this is really a minus sign. And this is really a minus sign. I'm really saying x minus 5x minus 5x. So if I split those up, I have an invisible 1x here, a -5x there, and a -5x there. So if I have $1, but then I spend 5 here and then I spend another 5 here, right, I'm gonna end up with -9x. But I had $1, but I spent 10, so I owe somebody 9. All right, then they started to get longer as I went through, like just bigger problems, more pieces. Ooh, and so finally we see this first exponent part. So I have a +1 here, a -4W there, a +10W, and then a +7W squared. So if I'm looking for things that are like terms, I'm looking for things that have the same letter with the exact same exponent. And so 1 is the only regular number. So 1 is definitely just going to stay a 1. I have -4W and a +10W here. So these two are like terms because they both just have a W. So -4 plus 10 is 6, +6W. So notice that +6 is what kind of makes that plus symbol in the middle, right? They're into these. This is the only term that has a w squared. So that's just going to stay the way it is. And that's my answer. But you'll notice when you start getting problems like this on IXL, it's going to start giving you an option to put an exponent in here. Okay, the next one I got was 3v squared plus 2v squared plus 5v squared plus 7v squared. So hopefully you can tell already that these are all v squareds. And since there's no negative signs, these problems are usually pretty easy for students. So I have 3, +2, +5, +7. So if I combine all of that together, I end up with 17v squared. All right, couple more examples. -6t plus 4t plus -5t squared. So if I separate these out, this plus negative here, this is really a minus. So I have -6t, +4t, and then -5t squared, right? This combined to make a minus. And so I'm combining the two that are like terms, but then this one is the only one that has a t squared, so it's just going to stay the way it is. -6 plus 4 is -2t for these two, and then that's a -5t squared. All right, then I got this one. Okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different terms. And so I have a +7n squared, a +2n squared, a -1n squared. So don't forget there's a 1 there. A +9, +4, and then another +4n squared. So if I'm looking for like terms, this n squared, this n squared, this n squared, and that n squared are all going to go together. Whereas this 9 and this 4 are normal numbers, so those will go together. All right, so I have 7 plus 2, so it's 9, -1 is 8, and then plus 4 more is 12. So 12n squared. That's with this, 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 and this. So the only things left are the 9 and 4. So 9 plus 4 is +13, so it's like a plus 13. Eight a plus 2a squared plus 3a plus 5a squared. So hopefully as you practice these, your eyes will get better at picking out the things that are the same. But I have an 8a and a 3a there. And then I also have a 2a squared and a 5a squared there. So those are the groups I can combine. So 8 plus 3 is 11a. And then 2a squared plus 5a squared would be 7a squared. And I can't combine these two, right? Because even though they both have an a, this has a squared, but this one doesn't. All right, so lots of symbols here together. So this is really minus, minus, and a minus, right? So this is really saying 9s minus s minus s minus 8s. So I have a +9, but then I'm going to subtract 1, and then I'm going to subtract another 1, and then I'm going to subtract another 8. So 9 minus 1 is 8, and then 8 minus 1 is 7, and then 7 minus 1 would be -1. I could put -s or -1s would be fine, I'm sure. All right. The last problem I'm going to do looked like this. So I have one spot in the middle here, which I can rewrite as a minus. So this is really -f squared minus 7 minus 4f. And then if I split these apart, I have an f squared term, a normal number, and then just plain old f. And so if I look at this, this is simplified. There's nothing I can do with this. I can't combine. F squared has a squared, but this one doesn't. And then this one doesn't have an F, so I can't put these together. So I could say this is simplified already. This could be one answer. But on IXL, they're not going to want you to write simplified. Just retype the problem. Basically, just type this back in. This is as simple as it can be. Okay, hopefully that helps. Let me know if you have any questions. Good luck.